Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane, DC Multiverse, Batman and Robin, Uma Thurman, Poison Ivy. This is Poison Ivy from the film Batman and Robin, arguably the worst of all the Batman films, but they make for some pretty cool toys. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse, Poison Ivy, collect to build Mr. Freeze. This is the second of 4 figures you need to make Mr. Freeze. Here she is in the package. We have Mr. Freeze's torso, collector's card, and display stand. One side of the package, Poison Ivy from Batman and Robin. The other side simply says Poison Ivy. At the bottom, we got a bunch of credits, and there is her barcode, if that helps anybody. And on the back side, here's Mr. Freeze. Here's the part you get with Ivy. Here's instructions how to build Freeze, and here is the rest of the wave. So with no further ado, let's open her up. And I did get the entire wave of figures. It's time to collect and build Mr. Freeze. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here she is with all of her accessories laid out. She doesn't come with any traditional accessories, just a display stand, collector's card, and then Mr. Freeze's torso. But before I take a look at that, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Poison Ivy from Batman and Robin, played by Uma Thurman. A very campy movie, and Poison Ivy was campy as well, but she looked pretty freaking good. So let's take a look. Start with her face here. Her hair is very sort of vibrant and bright orange. She's got the little sort of plant things above her eyes, and then in her hair, you can even see green sort of earrings in there. Going further down, the outfit looks absolutely fantastic, made out of little leaves, sculpting, very well done. Paint job, excellent. I really like her outfit. It's just light green, sort of sleeves on her arms. You can even see the green ring on both of her hands. Let's go further down. She has green leggings. This thing has some sort of vines around it. Looks like double jointed elbow, double jointed knees. She's got some black boots here. I really like the look here. This is McFarlane's first Poison Ivy figure, and she'll fit in pretty good if you want to put her into a comic display as Poison Ivy. Yes, she's from the movie, but I'm really happy we finally have the Bat Rogue Poison Ivy out of the mix. Now we definitely need a comic version, probably from Hush. And a closer look at her face and head sculpt. Very well done, if you ask me. She has all the signature looks of Poison Ivy. Here's a closer look at the inside of her palm on her left hand. It has this sort of Poison Ivy leaf. I'd assume maybe she blows on there and her pheromones come out. Nice little attention to detail. Now let's check out her accessories. And like I said before, she doesn't actually come with anything for herself. Let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's her display stand. Typical McFarlane stand we've seen a million times before. It's a black circle, very thin, very basic. Next, let's check out her collector's card. As you can see, it's a close-up of Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy from Batman and Robin. On the back side, we have a description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. Now for Mr. Freeze's torso. If you check it out, this is going to make Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze from Batman and Robin. You can see his blue skin on his neck. The rest of it is cast in sort of a, I don't know, gray or silver color, but it looks very bland. It needs a metallic paint job. A repaint could really put this over the top, but as it is, it's still pretty good, but very bland paint job. And if you buy all 4 of the figures, you get to collect to build Mr. Freeze from Batman and Robin. First time they've ever made this guy in 6 or 7 inch scale, and he looks great. Like I said before, the paint job is a little bit bland. A repaint would really help a suit, but the face, the likeness is just fantastic. Look at that guy. Looks spot on like Arnold Schwarzenegger from Batman and Robin. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and her accessories, now for her height. From bottom to the top of her hair, standing about 7.25 inches tall, which can translate to about 18.5 centimeters. And now for her articulation. Starting with her head, of course, it can rotate from side to side, and you can get the hair all the way over her shoulders. Turn your head 360 degrees around. Looks up and down a little bit, up not at all, down a tiny bit. She can tilt her head from side to side. Not very much, but can sort of hold the pose with the hair. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes about 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. She does have a butterfly joint between her shoulder and chest area, increasing the range of motion and covering the large gap that would be there. There's a bicep cut hidden very nicely. Double jointed elbows, they go all the way in. Her wrist, it can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. In her torso, she's got a ball joint, rotate around, forward and back. Another one in her waist, rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, very good range of motion in her torso area. Legs, complete dust splits, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is non-existent. They go forward pretty far, back not much. Double jointed knees below that. And then her ankle here, forward and back, rotate, tilt, rock. And of course, to articulation. Elsewhere, in the corners of Gotham, here's Poison Ivy's plant lair. Here's Poison Ivy laying down, surrounded by greenery. Batman and Robin intrude into her lair. She has to stop them. She blows some of her pheromones toward Batman. Then she goes and gives Robin a kiss, putting both of them under her spell. There's Poison Ivy laying in her base with Batman and Robin behind her, defending her, protecting her. Batgirl comes to save the day. Poison Ivy's pheromones don't work on her. Poison Ivy gets up, goes into attack mode. She wakes up some of her plant hybrid monsters to help take down Batgirl. The spell's been broken. Here's Batman, Robin, and Batgirl taking down Poison Ivy. Now stick around, next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Poison Ivy figures. Here she is, next to all of my DC Direct and DC Collectibles Poison Ivy figures. And here she is, next to a Yamato Poison Ivy. Then, next to my Mattel Poison Ivy figures. And now, next to a couple of Kenner, Batman and Robin Poison Ivy figures. I got these a long time ago. They do not look like Poison Ivy from the film at all. I used to use these as Poison Ivy henchmen, but as action figures have gotten bigger, these have become obsolete. Here are all of my different Poison Ivy figures. I believe I have all of them in the 6 and 7 inch scale. Now let's check her out. Next to some action figures I use for Poison Ivy plant, hybrid, monsters, creations, whatever you want to call them. Here she is, next to an older Toy Biz, Lord of the Rings, Treebeard. This is a giant, oversized figure, and it's perfect as Poison Ivy can make these trees come to life. And here she is, next to some more Toy Biz, Lord of the Rings, Treebeards. These are smaller, but still much larger than the 7 inch figures, so they work good for some Poison Ivy monsters. Then, here she is with a couple of Resident Evil plant zombie monsters. These things are awesome Poison Ivy creations. And now, next to a couple of Mattel, Masters of the Universe Mossman figures. These are also excellent Poison Ivy hybrid creations. Here's Poison Ivy, next to a couple of McFarlane Stranger Things Demogorgons. I always thought the Demogorgon made for a good Poison Ivy creation. It's sort of organic, looks like it's hybrid of the plant. A huge open mouth, looks like a giant flower with the petals. And here she is, next to a couple of Bandai Stranger Things Void Series Demogorgons. Then, next to some crappier Bandai Demogorgon figures. And now, next to a Super 7 Biolante. This is a Godzilla villain, or monster of some sort, but it's a great sort of plant hybrid monsterkin Poison Ivy creation. Here she is, next to a cheaper Bandai Biolante figure. And here she is, with a few different Hasbro Marvel Legends group figures. These also work great for this purpose. Then, next to a couple of Playmates Ninja Turtle Snakeweed figures. And now, with a couple of cheap plant monsters. These are some kitty toys from Schleek. Here's Poison Ivy, next to this knockoff Audrey 2 that I got from Amazon. I was kind of misled. I thought it was going to come fully assembled with a pot, etc., etc. I got this with the intent to make him into Frank from Harley Quinn the Animated Series. I need to get a brown pot, some green foam, put them together. It's on my list of things to do. Should be fantastic to support Poison Ivy though. And here she is, next to a whole bunch of older Kenner Swamp Thing movie figures. I got these a long time ago, back when they were doing 5 inch figures, and used these for Poison Ivy henchmen. Had these guys for a long time, but there are a lot more options nowadays. Then, next to a DC Direct, DC Essentials Swamp Thing. And finally, next to all 4 of the McFarlane DC Multiverse Swamp Thing Mega figures. Here's Poison Ivy, next to the Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom King Kordax. He kind of looks like sort of a plant creature. He could work for a Poison Ivy creation. I've seen some people online say they're going to use him for the Floronic Man, another DC villain. I think that's a great idea. Now let's check her out, next to some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here she is, next to the rest of the wave. Batman, Poison Ivy, Robin, and Batgirl. These are all from the Batman and Robin movie. Buy all 4 of those figures, and you can collect to build Mr. Freeze. Now, for such a shitty movie, these make for some really fun and awesome action figures. I think each and every one of them looks really good. I think Poison Ivy might be the star of the entire wave. I really like the figure. I really like the way she looks. I like her outfit. I like the texturing. I like the sculpt. I like the fact that you can use her as a movie Poison Ivy, and she can very easily fill in as a common Poison Ivy in your collection as well. I think Poison Ivy is the standout of the wave, but each of the figures looks fantastic. Now let's check her out next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here she is, next to the McFarlane Toy Store exclusive Deadly Duo Joker, and here she is, next to Target exclusive Midnighter and Wave Rider. Then, next to the Target exclusive Flashpoint Wave, Collective Build Cyborg. Now let's check her out next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how she fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix her with. Since she's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. But first, let's check her out with some of her McFarlane toys brothers and sisters. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane toys, all 7-inch scale, and now, with some Jack specific and some DST or Diamond Select toys. Here she is, next to one of my wife's plants. This type of plant is actually called Lipstick, very appropriate for Poison Ivy. And here, next to some DC Direct and some NECA figures. Then, next to both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. Then, next to some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. Then, next to some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, next to some SH Figure Arts and some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, she's a fantastic action figure. I think she looks amazing. She looks really good as Poison Ivy from Batman and Robin, and she'll work good for Poison Ivy from the comics if that's what you want to do. The sculpt and paint job are absolutely excellent. Her outfit there with the leaves is so well done, the texturing, the different shades, top notch. Her articulation is everything you'd expect from a modern McFarlane DC Multiverse figure. Her accessories are non-existent. That's what the only negative thing about her. I mean, if I want to really complain, the larger piece of hair here, it'd be nice if you kind of push it out of the way, or if it was smaller, etc., etc. But I really like this figure. I think she is awesome. If I were to rate this figure, I'm going to give her a very strong 9 out of 10, a rating I very seldomly give. I think she's a standout of the wave. I like her a lot. I think she looks excellent. Really happy to add her to the collection. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.